If intelligence alone produced good decisions, smart people would never ruin their lives. So why do they? Let's find out. Most people believe better decisions come from knowing more. That's why we read books, watch videos, and gather information. But if knowledge were enough, we would all consistently make wise choices. The truth is that knowing the right thing and choosing the right thing are often two different skills. The missing ingredient isn't usually intelligence, it's wisdom. Intelligence helps you understand information. Wisdom helps you apply it. One fills your mind, the other guides your life. So where does wisdom actually come from? Let's investigate. Modern psychology supports this distinction. Daniel Kahneman, whose research earned him the Nobel Prize in Economics, found that much of our thinking is fast, automatic, and driven by mental shortcuts. We often make decisions first and then explain them afterward. Behavioral scientists call these shortcuts cognitive biases. One of the most common is confirmation bias. Once we believe something, we naturally look for evidence that agrees with us while overlooking evidence that doesn't. Another is overconfidence bias. The more certain we become of our own judgment, the less likely we are to question it. In other words, intelligence doesn't protect us from poor decisions. Sometimes, it simply gives us better arguments for defending them. Neuroscience tells a similar story. Research on the brain shows that stress, fear, and strong emotion make deliberate reasoning more difficult. That's why people often say, "I knew better." They did know better. They just didn't choose better. What's remarkable is that Scripture described this long before psychology or neuroscience existed. Proverbs says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths." Proverbs 3:5-6. Notice what Solomon doesn't say. He doesn't say your understanding has no value. He says it has limits. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge tells us what we know. Wisdom recognizes what we don't. If wisdom is the answer, how do we actually grow in it? The first step is to slow down. That sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest disciplines to practice because urgency feels productive. We often believe that making a decision quickly is the same as making a good decision. Wisdom reminds us those aren't the same thing. The second step is to seek perspective before certainty. When we're convinced we're right, we usually stop asking questions. Proverbs says, "Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety." Wise people don't ask for advice because they're weak. They ask because they know they have blind spots. The third step is to examine your motives. Before making an important decision, ask yourself, am I choosing what is wise or simply what feels good right now? Those answers aren't always the same. Feelings change, truth doesn't. Finally, remember where biblical wisdom begins. Proverbs 9:10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." That doesn't mean living in terror of God. It means living with reverence for Him. Real wisdom begins when we recognize that God sees what we cannot. Every decision becomes clearer when we stop asking, "What do I want?" and begin asking, "What would honor God?" That's the question wisdom continues to answer. Knowledge can make you more informed. Wisdom can make your life more stable. The goal isn't simply to become smarter, it's to become someone who consistently makes better decisions. Every week on this channel, we'll investigate questions like this through research, history, psychology, and scripture, so we can discover the timeless wisdom God has already given us. If you'd like to keep growing in that kind of wisdom, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next investigation.